Good morning guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope that you're having an amazing week. As I was trying to plan the videos of the month, I came across this video idea from Maggie Chu that I cannot recommend her channel enough. I love watching her videos. So she basically made a video about this or that, basically comparing luxury bags that can be very similar and basically picking between them. So we basically have 12 pairs of luxury bags and there's no sitting on the fence. We need to pick one of them. There's this new feature on YouTube that you can do actually a poll, so I'm gonna try to put that with every single bag to see what you guys think, but I would love to hear you guys out in the comments. So getting into the bags, I consider that the bags that I paired together, some of them very similar and others are just like bags that people tend to be like on the fence about. Some of these are bags that people have been arguing for years which one is better. I'm going to give my opinion, but that's only my opinion. I definitely cannot wait to see the results of the poll. So I actually want to start with like a newer release from Chanel, which is the Executive Tote. They did release it in this like blue croc, but speaking in general about the bag, I've seen a lot of people online comparing it to the Bottega Veneta Andiamo, and this is basically Matthew Blazy versus Matthew Blazy because he designed both bags. I mean, the Executive Tote, it is a revival from Chanel's archives. That's something that I love that Matthew does. However, I do feel like both of these bags are basically serving the same function besides a couple of things. So I want to talk about what works about both bags. Starting with the Chanel Executive Tote. Chanel resale is Chanel resale, so there we cannot really compare. I think the bag is really beautiful because it does give like vintage Chanel, but it is a newer release, so I do feel like this bag has a massive potential to become a classic, but it is very clearly Chanel. Now, with the Bottega Veneta Andiamo, it is a bag that is logo free, but if you know, you know. Like anyone that knows Bottega Veneta knows that the Andiamo is a Bottega Veneta bag. And I'm gonna have to go with the Bottega just because it has top handle, it has a shoulder strap, you can use it crossbody, it has the divider, you just have more options. As much as I am a Chanel girl, I love Bottega Veneta bags too, and they do so many things right, and it's just such a clean silhouette that it's not trend driven. It is just a practical good bag that is going to serve you, and I don't see it as a trend passing. Like maybe Bottega Veneta will hop off the trendy train for sure, it's already kind of doing that, but the quality behind Bottega Veneta bags will always stand, and it's just too comfortable, so I am going to vote for the Bottega Veneta Andiamo. Now this one is the oldest argument of all, and it's the Hermès Birkin versus the Kelly. If anyone has followed me for a while, you will definitely know that I'm going to lean and choose the Birkin. I'm gonna explain why, but I feel like this one is definitely very personal, and it depends on your lifestyle and your preferences. However, for what I've always seen online, I am actually in the minority. Most people really prefer the Kelly because it has a strap. So I do think that the Kelly has so many good selling points. It has a better top handle than the Birkin. It has a detachable strap, and it also has a longer production history, so it sells better on the resale market. But my main problem with the Kelly is that you cannot leave that bag open, so you need to completely undo it or just like halfway open. And I am someone that is always kind of like, I need my stuff. So for me, pretty much any bag that is like a hassle to get in and out, I end up not reaching out for it as much. I currently have one Kelly and two mini Kellys, but the mini Kellys are like completely different bag. But my Kelly is probably my least used bag out of all of my bags. Again, not really counting the mini Kellys. Also, it fits less. If you compare a Kelly 25 versus a Birkin 25, the Kelly 25 is definitely going to fit less. Now, for me, the biggest selling points on the Birkin is that it is an open bag, fits a lot, you can fill it to the brim. Like I used to be someone that was so careful with these bags, and now I just put everything that I need inside, and if it fits, it fits. It's very easy to reach in and out, and for me personally, like the 25, it fits perfectly on the crook of my arm. Maybe not to the crook, but like at least on my wrist, and that for me is enough because then I can cross my arms and I feel quite comfortable. I also feel like, at least for me, the Birkin is a little bit more of a casual bag that you can wear day to day. It's just a little bit more slouchy, more relaxed. but I do have to say that the fact that it doesn't have a strap sometimes is a factor that makes me not want to pick that bag that day if I go out with the dogs, or I know that I need to do a lot of stuff and I need my hands free. Then I definitely don't go with that one. That's usually when I go for example, the mini Kelly. I vote Birkin. Now this one I saw on Maggie's video, and it was the Hermès Picotin versus the Dior Toujours, but like the pocket version. So they're basically the same bag, but one is Dior and the other one is Hermès. And I don't know if I'm gonna be able to put my point across, but I think I'm gonna go with Dior for a couple of reasons. The Picotin does have amazing resale value. It's Hermès, we know. It's just no way to really top it. You have an insane leather and color range, so you can pick so many different options. I did fall in love with the micro picotons from the last fashion week that they were in box leather. Absolutely beautiful. However, I just feel like the picoton lacks a couple of things that the Toujours kind of does offer. It comes with D-rings and a removable strap. So this is a bag that you can actually wear crossbody, when with the picoton you don't really have that option. And I'm saying that as someone that doesn't really like wearing bags crossbody, but just like I like having the option. It is cheaper and it is lined. The Picotin is actually not lined, so it just feels like a very raw bag. But I do understand why Hermès do this. Like, Hermès gets inspiration from horses, and these are basically like the feeding bags for the horses, and the Toujours has absolutely nothing to do with it. But I do like the canache and like the extra details that it has. These are very, very similar bags, and I do feel like the Toujours feels like, oh, it looks like the Picotin kind of thing. So I am very curious to hear you guys out. Which one would you go for? For me, just because I feel like it offers a little bit more for a bit less when it comes to price, I would go for the Dior one. Okay, so these two are quite similar, and they're the Hermès Kelly Cut and the Bottega Veneta clutch. They're basically two long flat clutches that have a handle. I do have to note that the Kelly Cut is impossible to get. However, I think if I had to pick between the two of them, I would go with the Kelly, just because I feel like it's a little bit cleaner. If I'm gonna go for a clutch, in my mind, I'm gonna go for a bag that it's like a bit more simple and more elegant, and I feel like the Kelly Cut does offer that. But I do really like the closure on the Andiamo clutch, so I think it would definitely depend on the color and the type of leather, but I am going to be leaning more towards the Kelly Cut. I wanted to include a classic. This is something that I actually debated when I was starting like my bag collection, and it was the Lady Dior versus the Chanel Classic Flap. And I think I would have answered this one very, very different 5 years ago, but today, if I had to buy one brand new from store, I would go for the Lady Dior for a couple of reasons. I just feel like the Chanel Classic Flap has become something that it was not. And the price increases, the quality, I don't know, it's really put me off in such a way that I just feel like someone that has like a very special Lady Dior or just like a classic Lady Dior feels a little bit more, I don't know, I just kind of like it more now. I love classic flaps now, but the ones that I really like are the ones with like crystals and embroidery and so many different things. But still, every single time that I go to the store and I see the prices, I simply cannot do it. I do have to agree that the classic flap is a better investment than the Lady Dior. However, the resale price on the classic flap has decreased so much in the past couple of years that I honestly don't know at this point. And I think it's actually quite hard to get your hands on a classic flap these days. They're kind of like playing the game. And if we compare the price versus availability and colors, and sometimes they come out with the most beautiful Lady Dior, so I'm gonna have to vote Lady Dior on this one. I cannot believe that I'm doing so, but right now in 2026, I think that would be my choice. Now with this one is basically the same bag, different font. We're gonna go with the Fendi Peekaboo and the Fendi Peekaboo Soft. I'm gonna go with the soft version. I've always really liked the classic Peekaboo, but there's something about the slouchiness of the newer version that I just like more. I like the fact that you can see on the inside that the leather is just a little bit richer, or at least it feels richer to me. So between these two, I know that most people will want to go with the classic Peekaboo because it's just staple from the fashion house. However, I've never really considered getting a Peekaboo until I saw the ICU and the soft ones. I just like sloucher bags a little bit more than structured ones. So for me, this is like a really, really big point. And in this one, pricing is not really a deciding factor. It's more like preference. And for me, it's almost always going to lean towards the most casual, slouchy, comfortable version of the bag. Now, basically the same premise. We're gonna go with the Fendi Baguette and the Fendi Mama Baguette. I love the Fendi Mama Baguette so much, but I also love vintage Fendi baguettes so much that this one is very hard to decide. I honestly think it would come down to the style because I really, really like the whimsy ones. But I think I will go with the Mama Baguette just because I've tried it on and the leather is so soft. I like the fact that it's a drawstring and that you can wear it like super cute as a shoulder bag. But I think on this one I'm gonna be on the losing side because the Fendi Baguette is just like the baguette. You're gonna have way less options than on the classic one, but I just really liked it. Number 8 is going to be the Bottega Veneta Sardine bag versus the Lanvin Hobo cat. So these are like similar but a little bit different. I've tried the Sardine bag and I really, really like it, but I do have to say that I really love Lanvin and I really like the details. Like the handle is almost like piece of jewelry, and in this bag the handle is the entire argument because both of them are like rounded bags. They come in different sizes and both of them have a strap. I think just because the Lanvin one is a little bit more unique, I'm gonna go for that one. And also I really like the leathers that Lanvin uses, and on the Lanvin the strap is actually detachable. Now these are two bags that I personally don't like, but they're so similar that I had to put them against each other, and it's the Gucci Giglio and the YSL Icare. From the moment that the Icare was released, I just did not love it. It was just like a massive tote bag with a massive logo. But then again, I think I prefer the Giglio, even though it has monogram, it has the stripes, it has basically everything that Gucci represents, but I feel like this is very on brand for Gucci, whereas it's not really for YSL. Also, I've heard that the Icare is very heavy, and I've tried on the Giglio and it's not that bad. I would say that in general both of these bags are not really for me, but if I had to choose, I would definitely go with Gucci. Now this one I had my opinions when they came out with it, and it's the Dior Grove and the Louis Vuitton Speedy. I'm gonna go with the Speedy, but I do see the appeal on the Grove. But the thing is that Louis Vuitton has been doing an amazing job with the Speedy and their special editions, especially for the men's collections, that I've been pondering if I maybe want to add like a very whimsy Speedy to my collection. The only thing is the price point, because the prettier they get, the more expensive that they are, so that's something that we definitely have to consider. But yeah, these two bags are basically identical. They're bowling bags. I really like the canache. I love the pastel colors when they came out with it. However, with the Speedy you just have way more options, and it's just classic from the fashion house. Maybe a few years ago I would have voted different, but now that the Speedy has become like such a diverse bag that you can find different sizes, different leathers, different colors, pretty much there's a Speedy for anyone. So yeah, Louis Vuitton gets this one. Now the Louis Vuitton Neverfull versus the Goyard St. Louis Tote. I'm gonna have to go with Goyard on this one just because I've had the Neverfull 3 times. I did not enjoy owning the bag, and the Goyard is just so carefree. It's slouchy. I know that it's basically plastic, I know guys, but it is comfortable and it is waterproof, and I never have to worry about pretty much anything about that bag. It's truly that bag in my closet that I just don't care if I'm taking it to the beach, if I'm traveling, and I love that about it, and it fits so much. I really like that they're colorful and the way that they just mold onto your body, whereas with Louis Vuitton the canvas is quite stiff, so that was a no for me. And the last one is going to be like the trendiest bags that we have right now, and both of them are Chanel from Matthew Blazy, and it's the large shopping bag versus the Maxi Flap. Now with a large shopping tote, it can hold a laptop. I would say that this bag is very functional luxury. It is going to be a workhorse, and I do see this bag as very practical. I've seen a lot of it, and I do feel like it's going to be a great bag if you just want an amazing work, travel, diaper, laptop bag. It is definitely functional luxury, but I just think that I like the Maxi Flap a little bit more because it comes in suede and it's just like a classic flap and it's slouchy. I'm not gonna get it. I don't think that I'm gonna get it, guys, but I really like it, so I will vote for that one. It's just that it's a massive, slouchy, comfy, classic flap, and I love the fact that it doesn't have the quilting. They changed the straps for leather straps, so it has to be quite comfortable, and the maxi proportions just make the bag look very like different but still Chanel at its core. So I don't know, I just really like it, and I do believe that this one is going to hold the resale value way better than the large shopping bag. So my vote is gonna go for the Maxi Flap. If I were to get one, it would be in suede for sure, in dark chocolate color. It's just so pretty. So those were pretty much my choices, but I would love to hear you guys out in the comments which one would you pick and why. And regarding the Maxi Flap, if anyone has it and can let me know how you guys like it, I would love to read you because I am like on the fence. I've been thinking about getting another Chanel 25, but maybe I want to try this one out. The price point definitely turns me off because I just think that it's really expensive, but if it's such a comfortable and nice, I do want to try it out. So if you can let me know in the comment section down below, that would be amazing. Also, if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing and click the notification bell down below so you don't miss any of my videos. And if you're not done watching, I'm gonna leave you 2 videos right here in case you want to check them out. Thank you and see you on the next one. Bye.